Sunborn, ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy, the incredible Floyd Sydney. So, guys, today is going to be an interesting topic. I call it an interesting topic because we are going to talk about me. Who am I? That's the topic of the day. Who am I? I am Floyd Sydney Mtweni. I am from Bumalanga, Siabuso. If one of you or any of you knows it, yeah, it's situated Kwandebele. Today basically we're going to talk about who am I, what do I do, where am I coming from, my background, what I've always known, what I've always believed in, stuff like that. I've had a very interesting life. I've had a very interesting life because I've I've always been family orientated. You know, I've always been family orientated. I've always had people around me who love me, who support me. Okay, not really everyone, but then there's always the bad and the good, the positive and the negative. So I started preschool around Siabuso. I moved to Pretoria, Sosha. So I've been to so many places. And I'm currently attending University of Limpopo, attending accounting science, doing that level. Yeah, yeah, it's a tricky course for most of you. Probably you know. Uh, basically my school life. I started off as a, how can I describe myself? An introvert. I don't know if that's the proper term to describe myself as an introvert because we did not know what introvert really meant by that time because we were still kids, you know. I started by attending what you call a public school. Yeah, was it a public school? I think so, if I recall, because I was moving in so many schools. Some are private, some are public. So yeah, I cannot recall. But basically, I was a quiet kid. I did not bother a lot of people, but I was a bit rough. I've always uh, had the love for wrestling. Even now, I like, mm, to wrestle a bit, even if I did not do it as a profession. But then I've always liked to wrestle a bit now and then, you know. Oh, I'm in Ndebele, as I said. Mbuya Ndebele, come on. Yeah. So yeah, I would wrestle a bit in school, which will get me in trouble. Uh, but eventually, when we play rough with the guys, you would get hurt. So I got hurt on my right eye. I'm partially blind on the right eye. Yeah, but then you wouldn't tell if I don't mention it. So, anyways, from preschool, I went to middle school where, before I forget, I'm an athlete. As you can see, my physique, I have a nice physique. I am a very athletic. I am so I take good care of myself, my health. I do not drink, I do not smoke. I have no problem with people who drink or smoke, but I just don't want it personally because I feel like I'm fine like this. It's better for my health. You know, yeah. So when we're talking about health and sport wise, sporty person, I was doing so many sports in school, but mainly I was a runner. I was doing a short distance. Then I also went into cross country. If any of you knows what is cross country, you'll be running kilometers, going to different places. So I was a sprinter and also I was doing cross country because when you're a kid you're still finding yourself. Oh, also long jump long jump, not the high jump. For sure you can differentiate. Yeah, so I was trying to figure myself, Gucci, what do I actually like? So usually Vela, I'm that kind of a person who likes trying new things, see where do I fit in, which is very tricky because I've also identified that I fit in so many things because whenever I usually go into something, I take like myself, I invest my whole body, my whole mind, my whole soul into a particular thing that makes it a success. Because me doing sports in the beginning, it was a bit tricky because I was in a new school, as I told you that I was going to different schools, attending different school, changing schools. I would find challenging people or challenging, kids who are very competitive. And me, mind you, I'm still new into the school. I'm trying to adapt to the system. I'm a bit shy. I don't know what should I do, what I shouldn't, my boundaries, things like that. Plus, I was a kid. So I would find problems, to engage in those kind of activities. Eventually, I started getting used to the place. Then I started excelling in my sports life. I started excelling. Representing the school that I was attending. I cannot disclose the school because I don't want you to, track me down. Anyways, I've already given you my name, but anyways, so started excelling in sport. After excelling in sport, something is coming to my mind. After excelling in sport, I went into a different school. Going, I was fine. I was just an average. I was actually not above average in preschool and primary school. I was under average. So, that thing to push me into the next level. You know that one? Yeah, that was the one. So, those percentage. Yeah. So I started by sport. I've proved myself Guti. I was the best. I've always had that mindset, that mentality that I'm the best in the world. I was the best in the world. I was the best in everything. I was the best in every situation that I placed myself. I knew I was the best. Even right now, I know I'm the best. And as I'm saying that I'm the best, I know everything that is happening in my life and everything that is happening in my brain is going to reflect in my bank account. You know, still there, it is a process, it's going nicely. But, anyways, going back to me. So that happened, realized I'm excelling, going into the next grade. I started what you call partaking in school activities, just like our fashion parade and Mr. Handsome. I wouldn't call it to my surprise. In fact, I wasn't surprised by the fact that I achieved and I won in those competitions. I actually surprised myself that I had what it takes to be the best in that school, in a sense that, there's always somebody who is good at something somewhere than you, better than you. You can be better at a certain thing, but then remember, we are dealing with so many things in our lives. There's sport, there's academics, there's this and this and that. So for me, from being an average person in sport, né, I said I was under in school. Now we're going to sport. For me, being an average person in sport, to be to be the best in sport, then now moving to activities such as fashion parade, Mr. Handsome, you see those pageants, beauty pageants, as you can see. So for me to moving into that field and getting there and being the best really amazed me. I amazed myself. I did not have any what you call self-doubt. I did not doubt to myself. You know, Fine, we are humans, we have insignificances now and then, but then I never doubted myself in that sense. I knew that I was going to obtain a certain position, but I was amazed that I did what I did. I improvised, I did a lot until I received my highest form of, you know, appreciation, which is the number one. I became Mr. Handsome of that school. Then after that, there's something that happened in my mind while I was doing all of these things that were happening in my life, from sports, exercising, practicing, engaging in sport, it made me feel better about myself, especially when I was achieving across countries, achieving races, and now achieving events in school. I felt like everything that I could just partake in, I can achieve it. Then I decided, "Good, you know what now, Floyd? There is something that is missing in your life. How about you try this thing of education?" I was already in school. I was an underachiever because I wasn't even trying that much. I was like, you know what, ne? Let me try. Because there's this lady in my grade 8. She was teaching me mathematics in my grade 8. So we were doing, I'm not sure which topic was it, but I think it was geometry, if we did have that in grade 8. We were doing geometry where we had extra classes. It was around after school where our class was left. I think it was few classes of that grade were left behind, and then other kids were long gone. So she was like, whosoever, we were struggling, all of us were struggling in school. That's why we had those extra classes in the first place, because we were struggling a lot. We were struggling a lot. But then she said something. I had a zeal to go back and watch cartoons at my house. I was a fan of anime. Even now, I'm still a fan of it, even if I do not watch it a lot. So she said, Guti, we will not leave this class if we get a particular problem wrong. And I had to go. I had to leave. So I had to make a point that I figure it out. That was the first time I had a problem, a school problem. Then I tried my absolute best to put my mind and my body and my soul into it. And guess what? I got it right. It's not a lie. I'm just stating facts and I'm telling the truth. I got it right. I was surprised that I even got it right because I had a little bit of a doubt, but I had confidence in myself. I've always had confidence in myself. That's why I decided to start this YouTube channel. So after that, I got the answer right. Oh, and then there was also a guy who later became my friend, yeah, who also got it right that we left. Then when I got to my house, instead of me going to watch cartoons as the original plan was, I was like, let me go back and do the same problem again so that next time I don't get to find myself in a situation. Whenever I have problems, now I do not let my problems repeat. I make I every time I get a problem, I take the opportunity. I turn those problems into solutions. Every time I have a problem, I turn it into a solution, which helps me later on in life, later at a later stage. So I was like, you know what? Let me go back to the same. Instead of me thinking about it, let me make sure that I know it so that next time it doesn't become a problem. Not really for me to stuck back to be stuck back to avoid being stuck back in the class, but for me to to really get better in my schoolwork because as I said, it was a bit challenging. So I started like that, started looking at my books, trying to see just sometimes 15 seconds, sometimes 15 minutes, just to see the hang of it, get the ball rolling. So how? Kani, only to realize with how this thing is nothing if you really invested in it. If you are invested in it, you want it to happen, this thing is nothing. So I did that. I started studying. I started focusing in my schoolwork. I started developing the love of mathematics because it made me think differently than I used to think before. Yes, I was developing as any normal person, but then me being doing sports, excelling in sport, doing events in school, excelling those events, partaking on events, and going to academics and realizing that I can also do that meant a lot to me and it did a lot to myself. I moved, this is not a lie, guys. I moved from being under average to become not only above average, but the one of the best learners, because I could even achieve there are some subjects, there were subjects where I was even now being number one in that grade. Not all of them, because I wasn't what you call, my capabilities were not the same. I am an analytical person. I'm a technical person, a pattern person, just like mathematics and things like that, they do not come hard on me. I don't know whether is it the way my brain is hardwired, or it's just the love of it, because mathematics makes you think differently. It makes you think differently, because yeah. So going to that, went into high school. From high school, started excelling the same way, progressing. Now we go into varsity. But before I left high school, my parents always wanted me to do medicine, to be a doctor. And I've never been a fan of that, to be honest. I've always thought of it the time I was in grade 10, 11, it was always in my mind. Maybe you can become a doctor. What if you are, what if it is in you and you are a doctor, but you don't know it yet? But then only to find out that I, f- I became curious of myself. I digged deep. I understood, as I said, Uguti, whenever I have a problem, I look for solutions that are going to benefit me, not now, but also in the future, so that I don't repeat the same mistake. And so that my life can become better. So what I did was like, do I like medicine? No. Was I the one to select medicine? Was I the one who said, no, I'm taking initiatives, I like medicine? Or just because you are passing, you're supposed to be a doctor? No, I was like, you know what? No, I fell in love with finance, the financial part of mathematics. I fell in love with finance, and because I can't say I'm from a disadvantaged background, but I was not really interested what was happening outside in the world. I was living in this bubble where I created myself, in a sense that nothing and no one can easily penetrate through it. That is why I am never influenced. I take my own decisions. That's why to this day I've never done certain things that I've named earlier in the beginning of the video. So with that in mind, I said, okay, this guy likes finance, is interested in finance. How about how about now look onto these things in finance? Because there was a part, there was a topic in my high school. Yes, financial. Yeah, it was finance, part of mathematics, compound interest, this and that. Yes. So I moved when I did my grade 10 in this particular school. I moved into another school. Now it was a private school where I did my grade 11 and 12. So in my grade 11, still new, trying to get to, trying to be flexible, get to know people, get to familiarize myself with the place, with the environment, changing environment. So after I did that, what happened was that I started gravitating towards making that financial part of mathematics my sole importance, in a sense that I had to be perfect in it. I tried perfecting it to a point that I even got a total, because the financial part of mathematics in grade 11, if you get the first answer wrong, you will never get to, you never get to the final what you call final solution, because it builds. If you get it wrong, everything is wrong. If maybe you get it half right, then at the end you get it wrong, everything, not really everything now is wrong, but then that part that you got it wrong until the end is now wrong. So I tried to perfect myself to a point that I would get absolutely everything right, and that was it. You'll find Guti in my grade in mathematics now, you'll find Guti I would get let's say 84 out of 100 in that subject, then the second best will get 56. That's the distance that I created. That was the drive and motivation. That was the discipline that I instilled in myself. I've always had that thing in me that in everything that I do, and everything that I put my mind and my soul and my drive into it, I will get to the bottom of it. I shall understand and I shall get it right and I shall perform in it and everything will be proper in it. Yabo. So fine, I did that, started excelling, did my matric, passed my matric, came to varsity. Even if a lot of people, I never did accounting in school. I was doing physics and mathematics and other things, but I never did accounting. I started doing accounting when I got to varsity. So with that in mind, it was not really about me being an accountant, but it was me being, knowing information, finding more about the financial part of the world because we are governed by finance, So me finding and coming to the University of Limpopo to study chartered accountancy, it was all about that finance. So the only problem that I had was that when I got here, which I still have the problem right now, I was being taught, and I'm still being taught about people by lecturers that okay, they are teaching me business, but they don't have their own businesses. They are teaching me how to run a business, how to run a successful business to be exact, but they do not have their own businesses. Teaching me different things, but they do not do it. There's always there's always an action that is accompanied before, after a study, which I couldn't get the hang of it. Because, there are so many things that are coming to my mind, and I'm trying to make sure that I execute exactly what I want to execute, not for me to be all over. So, when those teachers, not teachers, actually lecturers, né, were giving me lectures, when I was sitting down listening to them, I've always known Guti, there is something wrong with this. Ne? That's when I went back to my room, back to my private space, starting going to the internet. I went to the internet. I went to YouTube, started learning more about the accounting system, the banking system, monetary policies, every system, the government system in the world, even especially the schooling system. That's when things started being tricky. Even if even right now they're still tricky. I discovered a lot of things that disturbed my learning progress to a point that everything I was being taught in class, every information I was given in class, I felt like there was something missing. I still feel like there's something missing, and there is something missing, in a sense that I started my own business in 2020 last year. I did it from March until September because of issues of finance, and not only because of finance, but then I like being literal. I wanted to take initiatives, action, because I've seen a lot of people going out of graduating out of universities, not knowing a thing about business, not having experience, and not knowing anything about business, not books. It's action, doing things actively, proactively, not reading about them. So I had to do that. That's why I learned accounting in my small business. I was selling fast food. In my small business, managing people, talking to customers. That's how I learned a lot of things, and I'm still in the learning process, you see. But that one is for the next video. I'll tell you more about my, not only my personal development, but my also my what you call financial development. I'll do that. Excuse me. So from there, I this is where I am, trying to improve myself, trying to improve my finances, trying to improve my mind, trying to improve my life, trying to improve my physique, trying to improve my physique, and trying to level up spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, mentally, every sense, in every way. I've made mistakes through the way, but I'm building myself. All right, that's the end of the video. Uh, Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm not sure whether the quality is good, but it's still the beginning, guys. It's still going to be a long way. I'm still going to give financial advices, because what you see is not actually all. There's still more. There's still more personal development. There's still more. So thank you guys for watching. See you next time. Cheers.